In this episode, I want us to create this button for add to cart, and we will create it as a reusable button so that we can use it in other parts of the application when we want to. I'll come to files, then I'll go to app, components, and I can create it at the root of our components. So right here, we can have our button.tsx, stateRes functional component. We can say that this is our button. So this will be a client component. So I can use client right here. Here, we can return a div. We can define various props that we will be receiving. So let's create an interface. So you'll say interface button props, and the first one will be the label. So our button will have a label which will be a string, and the button can be disabled or not. So disabled, this will be an optional boolean. So use a question mark there, full colon. We will have an outline which is a boolean. So it can have an outline or not. Can have a small button and a large button. This is also a boolean. Also, I'll add here custom, so it's also optional, and this is a string icon, but it will also be optional. We will be using React icons, and we have a type from React icons called icon type, this one here, and this will come from React icons like that. One last thing is that we will be having an on-click event. So we'll be passing an on-click function to this button, and this will receive an event which is of type React, then dot mouse event, angle brackets, HTML, button element. Yep, like that. So I save to auto format and also cross these ones. Then this is what we receive. So this should be an arrow function that returns void. So we won't return anything from that. Now I save, and there we go. Awesome. So let's hook these props here. React.fc, angle brackets, and here we go with button props. So this should receive all the props, label, disabled, outline. Then here we'll have small, we'll have custom, icon, and on click, and I save. Here I'm receiving all the props that we have defined on our types here, and we will use them to dynamically show this button. Okay, so when we pass small, we'll show a small button. When we pass outline, we'll show an outlined button, and so on. Okay, so right here, instead of a div, let's return a button. The content for this will depend on whether we have an icon or not, and then we also show the label. So here we'll have the label, and then here we show an icon. So we'll perform a check. Does icon exist? So we say icon end, and here we now show the icon component from React icons, and here we show the icon that we pass in. So this we should change it. So we'll say let's have icon as icon. So we start with the caps there as icon, so that we can use these as a component. When we start with a small letter, React will not know that that is supposed to be a component. We have icon, it is a self-closing one, and we have the size prop, and we can default the size to 24 right here. Okay, cool. So let's have a class name, and instead of this, we will use the curly brackets and the backticks here, and now we list them right here. So if our button is disabled, we will show an opacity of 70, and to make this button disabled, we'll add a prop to it. So we'll just say disabled, and we set this to be equal to disabled. So this is the value that we pass through here. If our button is still disabled, we show a cursor of not allowed. So cursor, we have this one here, not allowed. We'll make our button to be rounded, MD. We can have hover. When we hover on this button, let's change the opacity to 80. Okay, so avoid leaving the space between this. So this should be one thing. This one also and this one also. We'll have transition, and we can set the width for this one to be full and the border for this one to be straight 700. And then we can style these items to be side by side using flexbox. So we'll display flex, then we'll have items at the center, so items hyphen center, and then we will have justify center also, and a gap of 2. We will have now the dynamic styles. So here we use the money sign and the curly brackets, and then we'll check if we have the outline property, and if we do, here we'll show a background of white, else we will show a background of straight 700. This background will be similar to this border color here, so it will show a solid button. Else this will be white, and then it will show this border, therefore it will be outlined button. Okay, then here still if we have outline, so we perform another check. Now here let's change the text. So if we have outline, the text will be straight 700, else the text will be white. And we are done with outline. Let's go to small. Here you'll have small. We can start by changing the text size. So if small exists, then text will be small, else text will be MD. That means that it's bigger. Small again. We'll have padding along the y-axis as 1, and then we'll have padding along the x-axis as 2. Then here we'll have padding along the y-axis as 3 and padding along the x-axis as 4. So here we can have text small, and also we can have font as light, and then here we can have text MD, and also we can have font as semi-bold. I think we can also add some combinations here. Here I can add border 1px, and also here I add border of 2. Now lastly, what I'll add is a custom right here, and we pass our custom styles. So this will be in form of a string, else it will be just null. Okay, so if we don't have, we pass nothing. I save, and hopefully everything is fine. Let's use this button on our product details right here at add to cart. So here I will remove that, and I'll just say button. Make sure to auto import it from app component there. Then this will be a self-closing button component, and it will expect us to pass some props. So some props are mandatory, like the label here, and the on click are a must. So here let's pass the label, and we pass add to cart, and then right here we also pass the on click event. For now we can just pass an arrow function that has nothing, because the logic for adding the item to cart will do it later. I save, and here we should see now the button, and there we go. We have this button. When I expand, it expands all the way to the end, and we can test the various props that we added. So small, save. Yeah, it's small, outline, save, and now it's outlined. Let's remove small. There we go. So it's good, it's working well. What I'll do is that I don't want this button to stretch all the way, so in this div I can also add a class name, and I can limit the size of this div. So I can say let the max width for this one be just 300 px, and I save, and there we go. So even if it's on a big screen, the button will be this size. Now in the next episode, let's see how we will add these images right here.